What is up everyone, and welcome to another free PC related video. Today is quite an exciting one because I believe this is the newest machine I've ever received for free. So that in itself is very cool. It's not the most capable machine probably, considering it says Intel Pentium dual core on the front and a Windows Vista sticker. However, it's still pretty cool because it's my first ever tiny form factor PC. As you guys can tell, it also came with a monitor. That is a 16:9 widescreen 19-inch monitor with a VGA connection. It's not the world's most groundbreaking monitor, but it's definitely awesome to get for free. I'd like to say a massive thank you to my girlfriend's brother for giving me this system for completely nothing. It's a bit dusty, a bit dirty around the edges, but we're going to clean it up, open it up, test it out, take a look and see what it can do. This is not a teardown, this is a good old classic IMNC look at a free PC. So I hope you guys sit down, relax and enjoy the ride, taking a look at this tiny little system. So as you guys can see, this is a very little Acer Aspire tower. It's a good few years old now, it's got Windows Vista on it, so I believe this was around before Windows 7 came out. But taking a little look around the case, it does look to be a very capable machine in terms of ports and connectivity. So taking a look at the front, it has a slot-load DVD drive, it has audio in and out. The audio in seems to have something, the audio out, sorry, seems to have something stuck in it. It has a very small USB port, it has an SD card slot, and it has two normal USB ports. Coming round onto the back, it's even more capable. You've got two little fans. I should imagine this is quite a noisy system. It has full surround sound output, Firewire, which is interesting, 4 USB ports, Gigabit Ethernet, DVI, VGA, Kensington lock, and the power connection. Now, taking a look at that power connection makes this system a very interesting one for me to cover on the channel. This is the first ever computer I've had, not just for free, I've never had one of these full stop. First ever computer that has an external power supply or transformer power supply. So this is very much like a laptop in a desktop case. So I'm really looking forward to cracking this open and seeing what's inside. And we're definitely going to do that before powering it on because man, this thing is dusty. So taking a look at this machine even closer, for whatever reason it has one of these rotary stands, which is pretty cool. So it kind of does this type of thing, rotates on its own stand. I'm not sure what the point in that is, but I'm very unfamiliar with these systems. So it looks like, guys, the top cover just pops off by undoing one single screw. So we'll take that screw out. It probably is not the case, but we will soon find out. Okay, so with a big clob of dust out of the way, turns out there was no screw in there. I can just yank it off. Not sure if that's 100% correct, but whatever. And taking a look inside, we see a few interesting things already. Interesting thing number one is the fact that this appears to have a full-size desktop hard drive in it, which is extremely intriguing to me because of the, what is that? That is some kind of handle. Okay, that's interesting. Because of the small form factor, I was expecting this to have a 2.5-inch drive, but that looks to be directly on top of the motherboard, which is again very intriguing to me. So guys, what I'm going to do is pause the camera, figure out how to take this bonkers piece of technology apart, and we are hopefully going to dig in. So guys, I for the life of me cannot figure out how this comes apart. By the way, I was incorrect on the front panel. This small thing that I said was probably a little USB port is actually a little Firewire port, which is very cool. So this thing has Firewire on it. It also has Firewire on the back panel, which is really cool. Taking the front panel off is easy enough, and that's where we get a lot of the dust revealed. We can see the slimline DVD drive and stuff like that. You can also see a bit of ventilation for the hard drive. But it all seems to be one single shell, and I can't see an effectively speedy way to take this apart. So, considering that it's not that dusty internally from what I can see, this seems to be, these two fans directly blow on the heatsink, which is here. There are copper heat pipes there, which I assume are going under the CPU. But I'd say, just for fun, it is probably worth powering on to see what it does. Further investigation on how to take this thing apart may be needed if it doesn't work. But yeah, looks like it's been opened up before, not too sure why. Maybe the screw literally just went missing on its own, I have no idea. Sometimes you can never tell what the weird story is behind these little systems, but one thing's for sure, they are pretty cool. I mean, it's nowhere near as stealth and sleek as something like a Mac Mini, but you can't deny that it's pretty cool, and it's also got a desktop hard drive in it, which is nice. So, you know, here it is. So everyone, we are ready to give it a go. It is all plugged in here. I'm using an Apple keyboard because that's the only USB keyboard I've got handy. And I've borrowed the USB mouse from the studio. It's amazing since I've been clearing out the lack of handy stuff I have hanging around. Anyway, we have the transformer sitting here, and we're going to plug it straight into the mains, and then we're going to push the power button and see what happens. So that's the power supply plugged in. Let's head for the... And naturally it's already powered up. Here we go, Acer. Oh man. Okay, so we got video, monitor works, and the PC is booting. And wow, okay, start Windows normally. Let's take a look if it boots into Windows. Here we go, the classic Windows Vista loading. Now we've got something happening on the display, a little bit of flickering. Could be my VGA cable, or the display could be totally messed up. He did suggest that he may have dropped it once or twice, which is all good. Yeah, there's a little bit of flickering. I'm not sure if you guys can see that on the camera, but there are flickering lines happening on the screen. So let's try and log in here. And something weird is also happening with the resolution, guys. So yeah, I'm not too sure why that is. So guys, in order to protect privacy and whatnot of the owner of this machine, the original owner, I'm blanking out the screen for now because of wallpaper and various documents on the desktop that I'm not sure what they are. So I need to clear out the system a little bit before we take a look at specs and stuff like that. So I'm going to move some stuff out the way and sort out, get all the personal files and stuff out the way before we take a look at the system, so bear with me. So guys, it's actually quite clean for a Vista install. I've tidied it up a bit. If we take a look and have a look, I've already had a quick nose as I was going around. It's got what appears to be an 80 gig drive at a glance, but there's two partitions. So it's a 160 gig hard drive, I think, because they're both roughly 80 gigabytes. So, you know, there's only a couple of little things in there. It's relatively empty. In terms of specs, guys, it's, you know, average-ish for a computer this time. It's rocking 1 gig of RAM and an Intel Pentium 2140, sorry, at 1.6 gigahertz. So yeah, not really a powerhouse. And of course, it's running on just generic Intel integrated graphics. You know, which is fine for most things. As you can see, it's running on chipset graphics there. But surprisingly, it's quite snappy, as you guys may be able to see. It is fairly... when you just click things, they just launch pretty quickly. Everything's pretty cool, and it's not too bogged down considering it's a Vista install. I mean, we don't really have any torrenting stuff on here and whatnot. It's mainly Norton, Firefox. There is the classic AOL stuff that tried popping up a million times. This is what we had to put up with in the UK if you wanted to get on the web not too long ago, guys, really. This was the mainstream way to do it, with AOL, and they forced you into using this horrible interface. But yeah, that's how it was back then. Surprised to still see this on a system this new, though. I mean, that was more of like an early Windows XP thing, if anything. I mean, we never had AOL broadband in this house, but I remember people that did. Early version of Norton. Well, I say early, earlier than the current one. I'm not sure how long Norton's been going. We've got some random music files on the desktop, along with random folders. It looks all to be like schoolwork and stuff, so, you know, hopefully I'm not revealing anything too personal here. But yeah, as you can see, pretty much a generic basic Vista install, and considering the hard drive made a lot of noise on boot up, it's actually quietened down quite a bit now, and it's pretty snappy. So it's not too bad at all. This system works. I wasn't really expecting it to work. The only thing is the monitor is doing this random flickery thing. I'd say the monitor is probably the crappiest part. It's a no brand monitor, so it's definitely not a decent display by any means. In fact, it looks pretty bad in terms of displays, guys, so that's a bit of a shame. It may be a nice little dedicated, could have been a nice little dedicated 16:9 smallish monitor that I could have used for something, but no, it's pretty rough. Everything's got a green kind of hue to it, and I think the couple of drops that he mentioned may have impacted the flickeriness of the picture. Here is the classic Windows, what did they call it? Sidebar, I think, where you could add widgets. There were some pretty cool things like these CPU clocks and that. I remember all these. It's definitely a thing of the past now, you know, but they were pretty cool. They were to directly compete with Dashboard on Tiger. So, you know, and you could put them out on the desktop and they'd get bigger, as you can see. Well, the clocks got bigger, and that got bigger as well. So yeah, there was a lot of cool things you could do, but all fairly crap interface, as you can see, not behaving very well. But it is what it is. Vista is definitely a thing of the past now. Although I didn't find it as bad as many people made out. You know, it's a clean-looking OS. A lot of people had problems with it, especially when it came to running anything slightly out of the norm in terms of hardware. But I know one of my friends back in school, he ran Vista on his laptop and he swore by it, and I don't speak to him these days at all, but he absolutely swore by it, even when I offered him on numerous occasions to give him Windows 7 and a free RAM upgrade. But anyway, that's a story for another day. This is a nice little system, working well. What I am going to do is grab a DVD and see if the slot load DVD drive works, guys. I'm surprised that the PSU, the external PSU and the hard drive are still working, because I would have thought they would have been the most flaky components to break. But with maybe a change of hard drive, maybe put an SSD in this thing, and 2 gigs of RAM or 4 gigs of RAM, it could be a nice little box to do some work on. Obviously not for me, I'm definitely a Mac guy, but yeah, I don't know if I could sell it or what. I don't know what to do with it. It's actually quite a nice kind of media center PC because of the size. It's got DVI as well, so it'll do HDMI, but nothing much in terms of audio output on it. So not a perfect home theater box, but it definitely is low profile. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to grab a DVD. So I have a copy of True Grit. I don't quite know why I have this. I don't know if you guys know this, but I really don't collect DVDs. I never have. I went from VHS to digital download. Maybe a half a year of collecting DVDs. Ooh, guys, not good. It's not accepting my DVD. Oh, now it is. Just needed a bit of extra persuasion. Yeah, but anyway, I went straight from VHS to maybe half a year of DVDs. I got around 40 DVDs, I think, and then, or maybe a year of DVDs then. And then straight to digital downloads, and then straight to Blu-ray, which I'm on now, so... Yeah, wow, this is crunching up the disc a little bit, making a few different noises. There is an orange light glowing out of the slot, so I'm not too sure what that means. But we'll see if it spins it up. It doesn't appear to be spinning it up, guys. No, it's just making a weird noise. So it looks like the slot load drive doesn't work, which isn't... Let's see. Would be cool if it worked, because then that would mean that... then that would mean the system is fairly complete. I can't get my disc out now. Let's have a look if the drive responds to the machine. Okay. Hard drive spinning quite a bit. Eject. There we go, yeah, it responds to the machine. It's not reading the DVD. Let me try one more time. The DVD's in mint condition. Don't think it's 100% right, guys. The drive is not quite behaving as it should when you put the disc in. See what it does this time around. No, guys, unfortunately the drive is not working, so that's kind of annoying. Neither is the eject button on it, if that is an eject button. I think it must be. However, I do have a replacement slot load DVD drive. It's an IDE drive, and it could possibly be IDE in this system. We'll see. But I do not have a SATA slot load. I know that for sure. Let's get my DVD back before it gets utterly destroyed. Even though it's not my DVD, I don't have a clue whose it is. Come on. Ooh, hang on. That sounds a bit better than it did. Well, it's trying. It might just be because it's... I don't know. Yeah, it's also... Ah, brilliant. Just as I was praising Vista. Check that out. This is the kind of thing that you do not get. Like, when you looked at Vista versus Tiger, this was the kind of thing that you did not get on Tiger. The Explorer has frozen, okay? And fair enough, it hasn't crashed the whole OS. The OS is working fine. I could launch Firefox over the top with the crashed Explorer if I wanted to, if it's going to load. But yeah, the Explorer's fine now. You just would not get that in Mac. You wouldn't get Crashed Finder. Although, you know, it is the thing. Yeah, AOL has a habit of doing that as well. Every time you open another browser, AOL pops up in the background. But anyway, eject DVD. It ejects it straight away. We'll put that back in the case. So yeah, the DVD drive isn't working, guys, but other than that, everything seems to be pretty cool. The system does auto power on when you plug it into power, which is intriguing. So I don't know why that is. That could be a hardware thing. It probably is a hardware thing. Something to do internally with the power supply. Yeah, but this monitor is flickering like hell. Don't know if you guys can see it, like horizontal flicker lines, but yeah, pretty cool. So everyone, that pretty much concludes the video that I can make on this little PC. It has got pretty hot in that short space of time, but I was expecting it to be a lot louder considering how dusty it is. I'm very shocked that it actually works, and I'm glad that it booted up. But of course, because of its underpowered graphics and Windows Vista, there's not a lot that I can really do with it beyond this point. I don't know if it's worth spending the money on putting a very cheap SSD in here and upgrading the RAM. I'll have to do some research, but unfortunately this monitor is one of those things that is not going to last through into any kind of new setup of mine, and it would probably annoy anyone else as well. If the horizontal line things are to do with the monitor, could be a VGA cable thing, quite possible, not 100% sure. Actually, it is very likely. It could be coming from the system as well. So I'll have to try the monitor out on a different piece of kit, but interestingly enough, we've shut down the machine now. Let's press the power button. The power button is still connected to the machine, guys. It does beep as well, so yeah. I don't know why it auto powers on when the power connects. Maybe it was because it was forced shut down, but it's that horizontal flickering there. I'm not sure if that looks cable related to me, possibly, guys. It's not even really coming out on camera. It is a little bit, I can't really tell. But anyway, that is that, guys. That is the little Acer machine. It's pretty cool. It is pretty cool. My first time owning one of these. So maybe expect a video on this in the future. If anyone's got any ideas as to what I should do with it, then please let me know. It would be really cool to see what you guys think. But other than that, thank you very much for watching this video, guys, and expect a Mac Pro update tomorrow, I believe, as the final video of this week. So again, big thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.